12, Santa Clarita's hometown station. It's AM 1220 KHTS. Jason Endicott with you till 7. Traffic and weather updates on the way. We'll continue to monitor everything on the freeways. It's been wet, obviously, and it's been very bad on that 5 southbound. The jackknife big rig and the truck route not helping things, so we'll check on that in just a little bit. Right now, though, it's time for us to get another Unsung Hero, Santa Clarita Unsung Hero. It's a feature that we do, courtesy of our friends at Benz of Valencia. Every so often, we get to speak to a local Santa Clarita resident who, maybe you've heard of them, maybe you haven't, maybe you know what they do, maybe you don't know the full extent of a lot of the stuff that they're involved in. And so we're happy to do that once again. And this time, joining us here in studio, it's Tim Davis. He is from Bridge to Home. Tim, how are you?
I'm doing very fine. Thank you, Jason.
I appreciate you taking the time, and congratulations on being named an Unsung Hero.
I appreciate it.
There's a lot, as you know, I've talked to you before on the radio, actually fairly recently. We talked about Bridge to Home, and we'll talk more about that in just a second. But there's a lot kind of more about you and your background that I didn't know. We'll talk about a little bit about, what you've done in the past and kind of where you see things going. I want to talk about Bridge to Home. Of course, you guys operate the local homeless shelter here in Santa Clarita. It's operating right now. It's a winter shelter, goes through to March 31st, and that continues to grow. And looking for a permanent facility. You guys are located over off of Drayton now. So just talk to me a little about the shelter, how you came to be involved with it. I guess it was about 16 years ago for you, right?
Actually, about 30 years ago.
So you became involved 30 years. Okay, so talk to me. Let's go back even further then. Okay. How'd you get involved?
I was stationed in the Air Force in Hawaii. That'd be a terrible duty. Okay?
Yeah, I'm sure.
And somebody has to do it, right?
Oh, right.
Okay. Right. And a gentleman came to our church and talked to us about a program to help homeless people in Waikiki. And through the church, got involved and haven't been able to figure out how to get loose since. I got here in Santa Clarita in '89,
right.
And again through the church, or St. Stephen's Episcopal, we were looking at how to help the homeless here, and then I say now, here we are. Okay.
Right. So we know the shelter has been looking for a permanent location, and as you guys continue to work towards that, ultimately, when will you know that it's the right time to do that? Who calls that shot? I guess is what I'm wondering. When will you guys be able to kind of put that together?
Well, I think it's a two-step process. We decided several years ago we really wanted to get into the program to develop a permanent location for the shelter and a year-round program for the shelter. We have these real-life things in life, like a recession makes it very hard to raise the funds and make good progress. So we have a program with the city and the county. We've been at Drayton now. This is our third winter. We're talking to the city, county, and a number of people about extending there for another 2 or 3 years while the economy's recovering. We can get our plans going, get the fundraising happening, find a piece of land to buy or rent or to build or modify so that we can put together a shelter that'll be there permanently and year-round.
Tim Davis is our guest right now. He's been selected by Benz and by KHTS for our Unsung Hero series. We'll have this article from Stephen K. Peoples and the video and all that stuff on our website next week at hometownstation.com. Well, I wanted to go back in your history, and you kind of brought up one major aspect of it was you joined the Air Force. You went to Air War College, right?
Correct.
Talk to me about that experience.
Well, I was born in the Air Force. My father was an Air Force careerman. I was born up at Mather Air Force Base, and it was just kind of a natural thing when I graduated college. Went into the Air Force on active duty. Did 21 years of good work with a lot of really nice and capable, competent people. But there comes a time when you turn around and you see things looming in front of you, like four daughters to send to college.
Right.
You need a little stability. You need a little more income. So I retired and came here to Santa Clarita back in 1989.
And you worked in the defense industry for another 16 years, I guess, after you left the Air Force, right?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. All the companies that I mentioned have been bought up by other companies.
Well, talk to me about that. What kind of stuff were you working on that was top secret, but now you can talk about it? It's not top secret anymore.
Not much of that.
Not much of that, okay.
But, went to work for Litton Industries when I came here, and they got bought up, and et cetera, all right? But I spent about 16 years working in various leadership positions in industry, and retired from that in 2005. And in the meantime, back in 1995, we had formed the Santa Clarita Community Development Corporation with that terrible long name that nobody can write on a check. Right?
Run out of space, yeah.
Yeah, you run out of space, okay, and they can never get SCCDC, right? Yeah, that didn't work either. So we renamed ourselves about 2 years ago, the Bridge to Home.
Right.
But we put that together, and I was elected president of the corporation. Did that for 8 or 9 years. When I retired, the corporation asked if I would take over as their executive director. So I've been doing that since 2006.
Busy times with the SCCDC, now Bridge to Home there.
Yeah.
Also, somewhere along the line, you also earned a master's in divinity. I'm reading right now from the University of the South. What inspired you to do that? How does that inform kind of your life now, the decisions you make now?
But that's been a lifelong thing for me. I've been always interested and had some kind of a calling, perhaps, in theology and the divinity, and so just a number of things came together, and was able to complete that back in 1999. And then your question, how does it inform what we do? Well, it kind of informs just about everything I do.
Yeah.
Okay, and especially when you get into a situation particularly in a shelter. And we do have difficult clients. That's fact. When you can step back and say, we're here to do a certain thing. We know it's the right thing, and we have to. We understand our clients. That doesn't mean that sometimes we don't have to discipline the clients, even put them out for the winter. But it sets a whole tone to your life and where you're going.
You talked about leaving the Air Force and having daughters, and you've been with your wife. You met her, I guess, almost 45 years ago.
Yeah, 1968.
Laurel, talk to me about her and about your family, and some special pride in there, obviously, for sure.
Yeah, well, Laurel's a special person, and she, like myself, has had an interest in helping others, for all of her life, and. Back in 1995, she decided she wanted to become a licensed marriage family therapist, and she's accomplished that. Has a practice here in town, and with a combination of a strong spiritual life and the education and the experience she has, she's able to help a lot of people. Got 3 wonderful daughters. Okay, the only bad news is one lives in Virginia, one lives in Michigan, and only one lives here in town. So
they're spread out across the country, aren't they?
Yeah. That's what you get from an Air Force family.
Yeah,
right?
right. And grandchildren as well, yeah?
2 in Virginia, 1 in Michigan, and 1 in Sherman Oaks.
Very good.
Okay, so that's the rough part. Only one grandkid to play with.
Right. We were talking about our weekend plans before we went on the air here, and obviously you can take the man out of the Air Force, but you probably can't take the Air Force out of the man. You're still a pilot. You still fly. Talk to me about that.
I'm a private pilot, and it's just it's one of those really relaxing, rewarding, almost spiritual thing. When you fly, you have to think about flying.
Sure.
You don't think about this or that, or the other thing, or the rough spot you had here or there. You think about what you're doing. An old saw in flying is you'll never allow the airplane to go where your mind wasn't there 5 minutes earlier.
Okay.
So you're always looking ahead. You're always thinking ahead, and you haven't got time for distractions. And so, all those other things that are, making your life kind of tense, well, they go away for a couple hours while you're up in the air.
And as you continue your work with Bridge to Home, hopefully going to be there with them another 30 years as you continue rolling right along here. What are the biggest things, the biggest goals that you have with the organization, maybe professionally and also personally for you as you go towards the next few years with Bridge to Home?
I'm pretty much at the end of my professional career.
Okay.
And one of my biggest goals professionally is to train and mentor my replacement, and we're starting off on that. But for the organization, now that we've been stable for a few years, not looking for a place to be every year, right? And hopefully we can continue that for a couple more years till we get permanent. We're developing all kinds of new programs. We've put together a free dental clinic this year. We've put together an affordable housing, subsidized housing program this year. We're working on expanded medical programs for low-income, homeless people, and veterans. So those are the things we'll continue inventing and developing those things for Santa Clarita. And then, of course, the really big thing is when we can find that location, that piece of land, and get into it and get it developed and get our year-round program up and running.
The website for Bridge to Home, you want to find out more, you want to find out how to help, let me try that again, btohome.com, bthome.com. Bridge to Home is the organization here in Santa Clarita. Winter shelter is open now. Tim Davis has been our guest, the unsung hero from Mercedes-Benz of Valencia. We'll have all this, the interview and the story about Tim at our website, hometownstation.com. Thank you, Tim.
You're quite welcome.
Appreciate you doing it. Absolutely. Congratulations.